this one. A different cutter. Get a cutter with a curve on it. With my curvy cutter. That's it. How's that look? Big cut, see?
Yep.
I can do the same thing on this edge too if I want. But I don't want to. Still barely. There's no extra. There's no clearance in it, see? It's tight.
Mm-hmm.
That means I don't have enough clearance.
In the flat cuts or the bevel cut?
It's close.
It wiggles a little bit.
Actually, I'll tie it right up against this edge too, when it's all in all the way. It's right there at the limit. It just fits my backing plate. I don't know if it'll fit yours, but there's no room for paint. So if you got paint in there, it'd be a problem. So we'll go ahead and cut a little bit deeper to make sure we have some clearance. For me, it's perfect for my backing plates. Zero fit. Like where I like it tight, but we don't want that. So I'll go down and give it some more material here to take off. So there's that's 10 thou aside. Let's see, you got some thick paint. We'll give it 15 aside. It's another 30 thou. So that should give us 30 thou airplay now. to do this by grinding, it's a lot easier than that. I'm only cutting in one direction because it gives a smoother finish. See how smooth the finish is? It's called climb cutting. So instead of the cutter going like this direction and digging into it every time climb cutting, it shoves all the chip that way. You come in this other way, it's going like this, so the cut is like this. So it's time to climb up the hill, and it does a real smooth finish. Two different ways of doing the same thing. It makes a difference. Also dig it and rip the part out too, this direction. The other way is pushing away, this is sucking in. So if you get a weak part or a bad setup, it can cause issues. That should be enough. About half what I gave has got the clearance. I got about 15 in there now. Maybe just a tear more, but not much. But we're hitting right up against this part here, see? That's right where my screws come in too. See, right when it stops, the screws are 100% there. So it's just hitting up against all the crud and stuff in here. So I have to make sure it fits on yours. Might have to file the edge a little bit on the back side, maybe. 100% across. So that goes in there like that. So the option is I can either counterbore these deeper for a regular screw, or we can do the Philister head with no lock washers.
I'll do the Philister head,
which is more of a correct screw. And this here, we can lightly file that to clean up the profile a little bit. This should be a nice bevel all the way across, but it's kind of a coarse cut, which is the venturi action stops right at that edge. Ideally, you want to carry it over a little bit further. So if you blend this a little bit more, that would help. But that's called nitpicking.
Who would do that?
Around here, nobody. Nobody I know anyway. So the advantage of this is instead of having this blunt edge to flow into, you know, you have a nice radius entrance for fuel to come in. Or not fuel, but the air to come in. And it pinches it down to what the hole size is there, which is smaller with the carburetor because this recesses into the carburetor. So slightly different. All right, let's go see how it looks.
Scooby.
Scooby's in the way. There's a nice radius entrance in there now. Pick up a little free horsepower. It opens up, and you go wide open. Got some airflow in there now. Everything got opened up. So there you go. Now you gotta do what you can do for an air filter on this thing, because all you can get is that stupid ass. Oh, was that wire mesh, copper mesh screen? Which doesn't exactly a high flow design, but that's the only air filtration I make with this style filter. If you want to use a center bolt one, you have to go in here and put, you have to cut this out in here for putting the center screw piece in here, which I've done before. So you got to cut big flats through here
I like mine.
to make it work. Then you can run a center bolt style air cleaner. But this is better. This will put out more flow than the other one, but the air cleaner is worse. You actually lose flow probably. Way it goes. Alright, and then over here, you get your gasket, which is going to seal it up right there. On that. Now, we didn't torque this yet, I don't think, did we? Don't remember. No, we did torque that. I remember. Inch out? No. No wonder I can't find it. Oh yeah, it's tight. That's why they cut that up, counterboard it out.
Oh, yeah.
Thread right there, not there. That way you don't bottom out.
Yeah.
I know there's no way they had an O-ring in there. That's not the right one.
Yep.
9/16. Tight. Okay, so all you do is figure out the fuel line we're going to use. Did you bring your old fuel lines? You find them?
Yeah, no, I have a good fuel line.
The fuel line was usable again?
Yeah, no, I have a new one.
Oh, you bought one somewhere?
Yeah.
Okay. You didn't have that listed, so I don't know where you got it from. It's probably one they don't have listed on the website, but you can buy it. Alright, so that's all ready to go. So all you do now is make sure your filter fits in here.
Yeah.
You'll get the right screws. These will have to be Loctited in, not just
Yeah.
washers, unless you can find the real thin washers. Or we're going to do a little counterboard and just knock these out a little bit, and then they'll fit in just fine. I'm going to do a little end mill and just step them out a little bit in diameter, and then we put a lock washer like we're supposed to in there. And the screw should be still long enough, because I think it's going to stick through anyway, the 1/2 inch length screw.
Yeah.
Because this one, you can see how high up in the air this is?
Yes.
And you can see how the screw is about that much recessed in. So if you have a lock washer in there, you'll, well, there's still in there quite a bit. The washer's recessed in even deeper than that. You'll be fine. So we can still do the washer if you want to. So, alright, so there you go. That's an M51 all rebuilt. Good to go. Where's the motor?
Exactly.
Alright, that's it for that. Okay, we're back on the carburetor again. We're going to mock up the intake manifold here. So he has the manifold here, which is a short one. And that's the one that takes the big spacer on it. Goes right there, moves it out quite a bit. Under my light. So it goes in there like that, and then this goes on top of that. And everything's dialed in so it lines up, so it doesn't slide off where it belongs. Because everything has a lip on it where it goes into it. All this stuff matters. New bikes, they don't care about that junk. So it takes real long bolts when you use this design. And you got to use the correct gaskets. These are the genuine Harley ones here. That's your Olden Hill. More World War II junk. We have a few bags of these. For some reason they give you 3 per bike. When you get the gasket set. I have no idea why they give you 3 gaskets, because there's only 2 needed. Even the parts book they show 3. So you need 1 gasket for here. So it fits in there real nice. And that goes on. You lose most of your dialing when it happens, see? Then you need another gasket for here. And you need this goes on. Now I'm not sure what you need 3 for. So these go in there like this. And looks like it's the right length. So these long ones are hard to get in here, see? So you gotta pre-fit them. So you almost have to not have your nuts on here. Yeah, it barely made it. This one we got good access for. it's hard to get in here.
Yeah.
I want to make sure this one doesn't go through and catches the bushing down here. It'd be a problem. It's hard to get in here with a screwdriver because it doesn't fit. That's why they make them hex head. Of course, there isn't room for a wrench in there. So you don't think of quite everything when they do these jobs, see? So you wind up having to do open end. And how are you going to do this on the bike? I have no idea. You didn't cut the burrs off that, did you? Nope. Didn't quite fit in there. So that's why you got to deburr all your hardware before you plate it.
Cool.
Like
Ready to run.
I wasn't going to tighten these all the way because we're going to probably have to take this off again.
Yeah, I may have the cat-plated lock washers too. I'll look and see.
Yeah, these are some used ones I dug out. But if I put brand new ones on, they'll look like chrome in there.
Yeah, yeah.
So you can see how much it's going to be a pain in the ass to get in here with a screwdriver. Now these are going to be up here a little bit higher, so you do have a little bit more room in here. So you see how it becomes a pain. So I'm going to take some tension off here and don't let it sit under full load because the gaskets will stick in there. So this is probably going to be coming off again to work on the motor. We have to have this to put the motor together. So let's take the load off things a little bit.
Cool.
And we already opened this up before to make it more blending in. So it'll flow better through here. You see that? This is a lot bigger than the carburetor is, so you don't have to get too carried away, but you just go in here and you run your finger through here. If there's any high spot, you take it off. So you can see how I cut it right there. So at least it blends in real nice and free. All that little stuff like that does make a difference. So now we look through the whole thing. You can see a nice manifold way back in there, see? Almost see my finger in there. It's a lot of crap I gotta go through to get all the way through the motor. So anyway, that's what it looks like all assembled up. So looks pretty good. Alright. That is now it for now on this one. Alright.